A man is run over by a car and is shocked to find himself reincarnated as a powerful sword in a magical world. While imagining various scenarios, he's surrounded by goblins, whom he defeats easily and finds that he can absorb powers by piercing the crystals in the monsters. He makes it his goal to collect skills and become a strong sword for his future master. He must have been a house husband in his previous life. Meanwhile, a slave cat girl is being treated badly by her owner. Despite the hardships, she continues to think of evolving, something none of her species has ever achieved. On the other hand, Sword keeps on defeating strong monsters and gains a bunch of skills. After clearing all the nearby areas, he proceeds beyond Area 5 and settles in the ground to observe. He decides to go forward, but he's unable to move as ground is absorbing his mana and the skills, causing him to get stuck there for months. Poor guy's a bad luck magnet. Black Cat's caravan is passing by and is attacked by a monster who is slaughtering everyone in sight. Sword calls upon the cat girl and she defeats the monsters using his powers. Sword releases the cat girl from her slavery and realizes that they share a similar goal. Cat girl accepts the sword's request to be his wielder and introduces herself as Fran. She names the sword Teacher because he promised to train her, and just like that, they start a new journey together. On the road, they get to know each other better. Teacher explains how good Fran is on the uptake with minimal guidance, and most importantly, how considerable she is. While they're taking a break, Fran notices a voice and rushes towards it. A caravan was being attacked by the goblins. Fran immediately slashes them. The guy introduces himself as Randall and offers a ride to the city Alacia in return for protection. Teacher tells Fran to keep his identity a secret as he only talks to Fran using telepathy. Randall tells them how the monster activity has increased because stronger monsters were defeated in Motu Plains. I wonder why this teacher has the edge of his blade in anything bad that happens. Randall tells them about the Adventurers Guild, and Fran decides to join it. They reach Elisa and head straight toward the guild, where they're received by the receptionist, Nell. She takes a liking to Fran and takes her to the practical examiner, Donadron. They have a tough fight, and in the end, Fran surpasses him by using magic and sword side by side, and he admits his defeat. Sorry for the big guy's pride, who lost to a kid. The guildmaster asks Fran where she learned to do this, to which she replies it's a secret, allowing her in because he doesn't sense any ill intent. Fran chooses to become a sword mage and sells some of her loot. On her way back, she's stopped by some mercenaries demanding money, but she teaches them a lesson, earning the praise of guild members. After being registered as an adventurer, Fran is looking through the market in search of armor when Gurus, a legendary dwarf blacksmith, invites her to visit his store. Garrus tells Fran that he sells stuff to strong adventurers only, and he thinks she's worthy because he witnessed her fight at the guild. Garrus tells Fran she knows Teacher is an intelligence weapon because of his god sight, just another OP isekai skill. Teacher thinks Garrus is a good guy, so he reveals his secret. Garrus says that a legendary weapon can only be forged by a divine smith, and there were only 5 recorded in history. Garrus teaches Fran how to increase a weapon's attack by mana conductivity. Eventually, Fran gives Garrus materials to make her a scabbard and some other protective gear. Fran purchases some dresses and underwear and starts searching for utensils and spices. They visit the Saber-Tooth General Store owned by Rufus, a former adventurer. Later, they get a room in a nearby inn. Teacher tells Fran that with the purchase of these goods, they will make delicious food, which Fran likes a lot. She is a true foodie by heart. Same. They decide to start taking quests and maximize their recovery magic. They end up going on quests like herb collecting, and Fran learns a lot about different herbs. While collecting herbs, they hear fighting and rush to the scene where a party is under attack by goblins. Fran quickly takes care of the goblins and identifies hobgoblins, which are an omen of a stampede. A goblin sneakily calls for backup. Fran tells them to inform the guild and takes on the incoming goblin horde. Despite injuries, she's determined to grow and keeps on fighting, leveling up steadily. During their fight, Teacher realized Fran is no longer a weak kitten. She's a ferocious fighter who wants true strength. Teacher supports Fran as she charges at the horde, slaughtering them. She's an absolute killing machine. Fran finds a nest that is identified as a dungeon by a member of the backup party. She's called by the dungeon master, who thinks the goblins didn't retreat back from Fran because their nest has been occupied by stronger goblins. He issues emergency orders to subjugate dungeon goblins and promotes Fran to F rank. Fran then takes her equipment to Garrus to be repaired, while Garrus tells her about dungeons, treasures, and dungeon's core. He really is a father figure. Nell tells Fran how the vice captain of knights dislikes adventurers and has refused to send any help. She explains to Fran how gods made the world and the god of chaos is reason behind making dungeons, and how monsters are related to the evil gods of war. Fran's little brain gets fried by this much information. The next morning, she picks up the scabbard, which Teacher likes a lot. Adventurers are assembled outside the dungeon, setting a base when suddenly goblins attack, splitting the adventurers. Fran proceeds to the entrance, helping people along the way. She uses advanced magic and clears a path to enter the dungeon. Donnebrand and others hurry behind Fran while teacher tells Fran to defeat and take crystals from goblins with useful skills and leave the rest for others. They store the bodies of goblins after taking the crystals, as this will raise suspicion, and then kill all the rest of the goblins using parallel thought, a skill that Fran has difficulty with. They keep on charging until they reach the Goblin King and Queen. Teacher senses a powerful aura from the king and decides to first surprise them with magic, but all of them are defeated by it. Turns out, appearances really are deceiving sometimes. It turns out neither king nor queen was the dungeon master, leaving Fran in excitement to fight the real dungeon master. They pass through a door and come across a horde of flying insects that are easy to kill and have good crystals. It's like a bonus stage. They find the source of that strong aura and ready themselves before the fight. Teacher promises to reward Fran with curry if they win. They end up facing a greater demon on the other side of the gate. He's the strongest foe Teacher has ever faced and is capable of destroying entire nations. He mocks Fran and tells her he won't go easy on her. True Sigma indeed. Eventually, they spot the dungeon master, a frail-looking rare goblin who had summoned the demon. A fight ensues and the demon dominates the fight, but Fran holds her own with Teacher's help. The teacher thinks demon is stronger and advises to teleport while there is a chance, but Fran insists on fighting. The demon acknowledges her sword skills and tries to take them from her using a skill, but fails in doing so because they are shared between Teacher and Fran. Demon is pissed at this failure and kills the goblin summoned by the dungeon master for his aid. Guy probably needed catharsis. The whole dungeon is shaken by one of his attacks, which causes Donnedrad and others to worry for Fran as they try to break the door. Teacher tries to talk Fran into fleeing, but she refuses, making Teacher realize that she cares for the city and wants to be strong in order to protect others. The demon starts attacking indiscriminately, destroying the dungeon as well, but Teacher notices him keeping the dungeon master out of harm's way. When Fran attacked the master, the demon took those attacks, and Teacher remembered hearing that everything disappears if the dungeon master is killed. Poor Guy had his bluff caught. They started attacking the master, and the demon protected him by raising a barrier, so they had to think of a plan to defeat him. They tricked him into thinking that they were attacking the master and aimed for his crystal, an all-time classic trick. Teacher recovered his mana by absorbing the greater demon's crystal while Fran kills the dungeon master. The door opens up and everyone is surprised to see Fran defeat a greater demon. Donnedrad scolds Fran for acting on her own. Later, Fran is called by the guildmaster, who thanks her for defeating the demon and questions her about the demon's crystal, to which Fran replies that it was destroyed. Guildmaster accepts Fran's answer, but another weak-looking snob who introduces himself as Vice Captain of Knights, August, says she is lying. He has the skill to identify lies and has been ill using it to trap innocents. He asks the guildmaster to hand Fran over to the Knights for interrogation, but he refuses. August then asks for a share in the loot from the dungeon, which is also rejected as the Knights had refused to help. Man should know when to stop, but this guy's ridiculous. Out of respect, Fran offers him some materials, which he throws away disrespectfully, enraging Fran. She now uses her new ability, Skill Taker, that she had gained from Greater Demon, and robs August of his lie spotting and etiquette skill, then asks him to identify a simple lie. August is unable to identify, which makes him nervous, and he starts doing unsightly things and runs away, making an excuse. The guildmaster tells Fran to look out for August. He promotes her to D rank and gives her a bonus as well. Everyone celebrates her success while Fran buys them drinks. That night, Teacher had a dream for the very first time and saw some people. Probably had a meeting with the gods. This is an isekai after all. They go to a lakeside and Teacher starts preparing curry, as promised, and burgers, which are stored for future use. Fran tastes curry and falls in love with all three variants of it, and can you blame her? The three knights at the gate who had become familiar with Fran warns her that Vice Captain August is looking for her. While walking through the market, Fran notices someone following her. She leads them to a tower and confronts them. It was Vice Captain August. Apparently, August presented unsettling behavior in front of the royal family that angered his father, and he considers Fran the culprit. He calls forth his assassin, Gaidon, a blue cat. Fran gets angry and tells Teacher that blue cats are enemies of black cats. They had betrayed black cats years ago and then sold off the remaining to slave traders. During the fight, Fran keeps having flashbacks of being hunted by blue cats. Gaidon keeps telling the stories of how he tortured and killed the black cats to intimidate Fran, but Teacher helps her emotionally, and she successfully defeats him. Fran cuts off his limbs and stores his body as a trophy to encourage other black cats that they should fight back too. Gaidon must be regretting ever facing Fran now. August is scared out of his wits, and just then the guildmaster's water spirit arrives and tells Fran to spare August. Fran should have taken his luck skill instead. He tells Fran that August's father had placed him under house arrest, but he escaped to take his revenge, and the guild was requested to escort him back, so Fran will be receiving a bonus. On her way out, she bumped into Amanda, an A-rank adventurer, who takes immediate affection towards her and forces Fran to call her mama or give her a kiss, but Guildmaster stops her from going overboard. Amanda keeps on following Fran around for several days. Nell tells Fran that Amanda loves children and runs an orphanage. She has the title Guardian of Children. The Guildmaster wants Fran to accept a specific request in return for crystals and a permit to access Ulmut Dungeon. He insists on Fran doing this quest so that people who are raising rumors that she either bought her way up or the Guildmaster has a thing for young girls could be silenced. Amanda overhears the conversation and insists on tagging along. Fran is greeted by Amanda at a rendezvous where others are already present. A rank C party, Azure Guardians, led by Cruz, is overlooking this quest, which is a promotion test for two parties, Dragon Roar, led by Crad, and Forest Eyes, led by Furion. Crad is rude towards Fran as he thinks she bought her rank. Their quest is to collect crystals from the core and take out monsters on the way. Crad keeps offending Amanda by calling her old. Boy needs to learn you don't talk about a girl's age. No doubt, he's still single. They camp near the dungeon and Fran is the first to keep watch. Crad approaches her and challenges her to a duel to prove she didn't use her connections. She defeats Crad easily, but Amanda wants to duel with Fran as well. Fran agrees on the condition that Amanda will stop following her if she wins. Amanda's whip techniques turned out to be quite bothersome. Fran couldn't find any opening to attack, but then Amanda used Manda Flow, and her whip became even more ferocious. Fran's having a hard time, but then she makes a strategy and uses the skill Parallel Thought to do a double attack. Amanda blocks the first, but the second one takes her by surprise. Her unique skill activates that renders an attack null. Fran faints, but everyone is astounded by their battle. Crad is dumbfounded. He realizes he's the kid there. After watching their fight, everyone gets fired up and challenges Amanda, but no one lasted as long as Fran, which showed everyone how capable Fran really is. So then, the party starts the expedition. Seeing everyone excited, Amanda remembers how crowded this dungeon was when she was a novice. A lot of people died clearing it, which left a lot of orphan children. This is when Amanda made the orphanage. Crowd informs that spider monsters have surrounded them, but they defeat them all and proceed to the second floor. Fran asks Amanda about skills, arts, and magic, which makes Amanda happy that she's asking her for help, and wants to give Fran a hug, but she refuses. On the third floor, traps appear which are activated frequently by party members, causing havoc. Izel from Azure Guardians disarms a number of traps using her skill. Amanda tells Fran about magic and its types, and then she can learn thunder magic, leaving Fran excited to try it out. Fran then shares her beloved curry with Amanda. She must be feeling the love of mother. Cruz then tells them that it'll get harder from this point on. Izel says that she has heard stories of people being teleported inside walls. They proceed to the deepest floor and find that the spiders have evolved. This is no longer a mission suitable for the E-rank party. Therefore, Cruz orders them to retreat. Two members of Dragon Roar bump into Fran, and they fall into a teleporter that forces them to leave their weapons behind. The location of the teleporter was changed by a trickster spider. Fran is facing the trickster spider without Teacher. She thinks she's done for as she can't fight without Teacher. On the other hand, Teacher uses his search skill, but in vain. The party splits in three and starts the search. Teacher's going through his skills and finds one that can help him find Fran. The Kin Summon that he got from Army Beetles, which allows him to summon a wolf. Regardless of revealing his identity to Amanda, Teacher summons an onyx wolf that has the ability to detect people. The wolf starts attacking Teacher immediately. Maybe he was angry because they disturbed him during his nap time. Amanda decides to get rid of him, but Teacher talks to her and asks her to trust him. The wolf is acting strange because of excessive mana. Teacher names him Urushi to make him normal, and as a result, Urushi evolves. He smells Fran and picks up a trail of scent, and Amanda follows them. On the other hand, Fran saves Dragon Roar members from spiders and keeps on fighting with her bare hands even after being poisoned. You can't question a black cat's determination who's out to evolve. She charges and simultaneously Teacher comes through the spider webs. He heals Fran, meanwhile the trickster spider flees. Teacher introduces Urushi as Fran's junior. Fran shares Teacher's secret with Amanda because she is a trustworthy comrade. Amanda is very excited to come across an intelligence weapon. They carry Dragon Roar members back to the meeting point where they find another creature. That creature was actually a guardian spirit sent by Furion to get help, since they were getting crushed by the spiders. Forest's Eyes had been captured by spiders. Trickster Spider had come here. She activated a trap, throwing a boulder towards them, but Fran reached it just in time and cut it to pieces. She and Amanda used magic to kill the spiders and free Forest's Eyes. Fran focused on the Trickster Spider to exact her revenge for messing with her. You don't mess around with a girl boss. After seeing Fran take a hit, Amanda couldn't stop herself and defeated the Trickster Spider in one attack, destroying the crystal. crystal. Fran gets angry at Amanda for stealing her revenge. They find a passage to the core and are surprised to see so many crystals there. The dungeon core was still set at only trap spiders, but instead of killing all the higher tier monsters, they decide to report to the guildmaster. Krat approaches Fran to thank her for saving her buddies, but Fran burns his hair, so they declare beef again. I really hope it's just a healthy competition and nothing serious. Fran upgrades her class to Battle Mage at the guild and then visits Garrus to try her new armor, which is specifically made for black cats. Garrus tells her he's moving to Ultimate as well. Amanda visits Rufus and they talk about 2 black cats she raised who became adventurers. Amanda's filled with regret for not teaching them to fight when she heard the news of their death, as they were Fran's parents. The next morning, everyone pays a visit to Fran while wishing her luck for her next journey. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.